everybody. So I'm Sarah. This channel used to be called Who I Am Among the Pages, and I just did book stuff, but I've been watching FlossTube for probably about a year, so I decided to chime in and make my own video. So I guess to start off with, I started stitching seriously about 2 years ago, during the pandemic like everybody else. But I've been stitching off and on most of my life. My mom has been stitching since sometime in the mid-80s. She was a teenager, and then she taught my grandmother, so they both stitched. They were both amazingly talented stitchers, and so I just kind of grew up with it. And August of 2020, I was moving into my first apartment and just really wanted to try something different. So picked up stitching, gave it another shot, and just fell totally head over heels in love with it. So I guess I'll show you guys like the oldest piece that I have. So excuse the frame job, but the date on this is 2014. So I was in the 8th grade, I believe, like the second part of 8th grade. Oh, by the way, I have a dog, cat, and 2 guinea pigs, and the guinea pigs are right over there in the other corner. And if you've never been around guinea pigs, they are not quite peaceful creatures like you are led to believe. So if you hear sounds from them, I'm very sorry, but I can't just kick them out. But yeah, so anyway, I have no idea what this pattern was called. Again, the frame job is not great at all. I believe this came from a book once upon a time. I know it's on Charles Craft Ivory 14 count Ada, and the thread's all DMC, and it's got a little button over here. Let me get it closer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this came from a book once upon a time, but like I said, I can never tell you what the book was. It was just one my mom had. I'm pretty sure that I stitched when we had like a really bad snowstorm. I was born and raised in Virginia, so every now and then you get like, you go a couple years and you'll have like an inch or two of snow at a time, and then you'll get this one snowstorm every 4 or 5 years that just hammers you. I mean, there's feet at a time. And I'm pretty sure that was the year that we had one of those gigantic snowstorms. I was bored out of my mind. So picked that up and did it. Because if I remember right, we had like 2 weeks off of school because of it. It was bad. I think we had like ice afterwards. I'm not really sure. But I know that's the oldest piece that I have in my own home now. I'm pretty sure, well, I know at my parents' house, there is a Christmas ornament that is like maybe 4 inch by 4 inch, square. It's stitched on red Ada with white floss. I'm pretty sure it came out of like a just cross stitch ornament edition once upon a time. So I know there's that, and then probably before this, there is a pillow that, again, the design's probably like 8 by 8, of this like really chubby squat Santa, and this little like chubby fat reindeer. That again, I did like middle school age. So yeah, I have been stitching off and on for a very long time, but I picked it up and stuck with it about 2 years ago, because my mom showed me, again, bored during the pandemic, needed something to do. So yeah, just in case you're curious, because she's been stitching for so long and she is so amazing and just my best friend in the whole world, I'm going to link my mom's Instagram down below. You should definitely check her out. She is super, super talented, and I just love her to death. Speaking of her, this is my just beloved needle book. I actually just graduated from college with my bachelor's degree. I'm starting a master's program in education in the fall. So part of my graduation present was this really sweet needle book that she made. It's supposed to be the 2 of us. So there's me, there's my mom, some scissors and thread, and a little spool on the back. And then got a pocket here, got pages of felt for needles, and then another felt pocket so it catches your little warts. And then there's a magnet. I don't know if you can see it. You might be able to, like the end up. This ring light is so bright. I have not figured out There you go. You can kind of see it. And then inside I have my little Domo scissors, the silver needle. I just love them. Never considered myself somebody that would use Domo scissors, but they were a graduation gift from my mom, and I just love them to death. Oh, my mom and dad. So that's my little needle book. I wanted to make sure to show that. And that's my mom's stitching. So, I guess a little bit more about me. I just, you know, kind of cut off in the middle there. I'm kind of nervous if you can't tell. Yeah, so I've been stitching for 2 years. I'm about to start a master's program in education. I'm hoping to teach 2nd grade in the state of Virginia. My bachelor's is in English, hence why, part of the reason why I'm such a huge reader. I just love books. You can probably see my bell puzzle that's on the wall behind me. So my boyfriend and I put together, and you can see what terrible condition that lamp's in. I'm sorry, we have a cat that really likes that lamp. So right now, in the summer between my bachelor's program and my master's program, I wear a couple different hats as far as jobs. I am a metadata assistant for the university library that I did my bachelor's degree at. I was a student employee there, and they let me stay over the summer until I started my graduate program, and then I'll be a graduate assistant come fall, as well as a substitute teacher. And I'm also the manager of the imaging department's blog, so there's not really a whole lot done with the blog, but anytime anybody does have something they want to submit, they basically give it to me. Give me their ideas, I write something in and post it on the blog. Just keep things cleaned up, and he gets some really crappy comments over stupid things, so, you know, clean up the comments, that kind of thing. I'm also an author. I just self-published my first book in May. I'll link that down below. If you decide to get a copy, just know that I do make royalties off of it. Certainly, absolutely no pressure to pick it up, read it. Yeah, it's just, that's part of what I do. I'm a writer. Because I do technically, I have a dual bachelor's in English and specifically creative writing. So that's really all there is about me. I'm not the most exciting person in the world. But I figured since this was my first official FlossTube video, I would do a, oh god, there's a pattern right there. I would do a whip parade. This is my most recent one. I just finished another little portion of this like 15-20 minutes ago before I got a shower and did FlossTube. So let me take it out of my frame. I am 99.9% an Ada stitcher. I learned on 14 count Ada. My mom stitches on 14 count Ada for the most part, and just, I don't know, I really enjoy it. I know it's not necessarily challenging, especially for a lot of stitchers, but, you know, I stitch as a hobby to relax and get away from things, so I'm not necessarily looking for a challenge in my stitching. This is on a light blue 14 count Ada that came with the kit. The kit is by, yeah, there's a little bit of pattern, I gotta be careful. It is by Designworks. It is Frontier Hardware. So I know this kit came from Hobby Lobby. Ooh, God, there's a glare. I'm sure you can still get it. It comes with the fabric, the floss, the pattern, you know, the whole 9 yards. And I just used as it was called for. So I have been working on this for about a year. This is a pretty big piece. I think it works out to be 14 by 20 inches. So it's basically in 2 pages. You have the top half that's on one long page, and then the bottom that's on another long page. So this is the entire side of one of the long pages. I just folded it in half. So now I'm working on the other side of that long page. And then on the bottom, of course, there's going to be the truck and the motorcycle and a whole lot of back stitching. Let me get a little bit closer. I'm really happy with how it's working up. I already did a little bit of back stitching over here, but just got really sick of it. So, yeah. There's my little needle minder. I'm a big Gone with the Wind fan. That is probably my favorite book of all time, and I really love the movie. So, I love that needle minder, and it's a nice shape. So, yeah. That's Frontier Hardware. I've been working on this for about a year. I started it in May, I think, of 2021. And obviously I'm not that at all close to finishing it, but I do have some good work done on it, and it's just going to be one of those projects that I pick up here and there and work on. So there's that. Let me settle this back in my frame. Oh God, I thought there was an earwig there. I don't know about you guys, but here in Virginia, we are like battling earwigs. At least in my house, we are. I think it's because at the back of our house, we have a lot of like long, low plants, like low foliage, and it's not in our right to be able to cut it down. I live in rental, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. But God, I hate earwigs. So anything that's like long and skinny and small, I get worried about. All right, so there's Frontier Hardware. That is what I was working on this evening. Just throw that on the floor. Okay, so I don't know that I remember what's in this. So this is in a project bag I made myself using, what was her name? Elizabeth Ann can stitch her tutorial. It is Batman with some blue stars. I absolutely love Batman. If you haven't seen the most recent one, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. The one that came out in like, I think it was March or April. It was extremely good. Loved every minute of it. I think it might be my favorite Batman movie of all time. This has gotten bent up. So in here we have the Fire Dragon designed by Dylan O'Lear. This was made in 2001 by Near North Treasures Collection. So it's an older pattern, definitely. So there's the finished product. I hope you can see that. It is completely full coverage. And it is definitely full coverage. I don't have a huge amount done on this. I'm doing this for my boyfriend. We're both huge readers, big fantasy fans. So I saw this and thought he would like it. Yeah, I'm not even going to take that out of the frame. I'm just going to take this off. It's just done on 14 count, like ivory Ada from Hobby Lobby. And by the way, if you can hear that noise, I don't know if you can. My boyfriend is downstairs watching the second DVD of the extended version of the second Lord of the Rings movie, speaking of fantasy. So, here's what I have done so far. It's not a huge amount. This is all just background. It kind of is darker along this top. This is like, no, this is the top left corner. Yeah. This is the top left corner, so it's kind of darker up here, and then it fades a little bit, but you can barely, I think you can barely see the difference. So yeah, I have worked on that in about a month or so. It's not bad. If you can see from the pattern, it's a lot of just huge, it might be full coverage, but there's a lot of huge, a lot of huge sections of just one solid color. But be warned, there are a lot of colors. This is all for that project. So, put this all back away. The fabric for this project bag, if you're curious, if you're, a Batman person, it just came from Hobby Lobby. But I like their fabric just fine. I also sew, in addition to cross stitch, I like to do dresses a lot. Here's actually, it's sitting right here. This is the table that I use to cut fabric. Here is the bodice, for the most part, of a dress that I'm working on right now. I love this fabric. If you can't tell, I really like stitching. It's all like sewing and stitching things. It will have sleeves sewn on, so that's why this isn't finished, and then of course, the whole skirt. I really like making dresses. I'm working on a quilt top from my boyfriend and I, and then I am also starting a quilt that was a retirement gift for one of my professors that I had this past year. So, anyway, here is another project bag I made using Elizabeth Ann Stitch's tutorial. This just on the outside has this book fabric. It's really pretty. It's got like a foil to it. On the inside, I just fed to the bulbs. It does not match at all. So in here is a project I can't show. Never mind. Just know that it's a Millville. I can't show it because somebody that it's for might be watching, so hi Mom. Then in here, I know what this is, but this is just kitted up. I haven't actually started it yet. It is the Little House Needleworks Early Americans, and I have all the patterns here. So there is 9 altogether, and they're all these little blocks. Here's the first one, Betsy Ross. Just little blocks dedicated to really significant Americans, early Americans specifically. So we have Martha Washington, you know, Abigail Adams, Paul Revere. You know, if you're familiar with American history, you know those names. So again, I haven't started it yet, but I do have my fabric here. Again, I made this project bag with Elizabeth Ann Stitches tutorial. This is going to be stitched on 14 count vintage country mocha from Quaker. So you can see the beautiful peek over. Just peek over it. You remember the guy from Home Improvement that just like talked over the fence? You never saw him. That's who it reminds me of. But yeah. So there's my fabric that I'll be starting, and I'm gonna like it appears. I'm gonna do it all on one piece, and then I really want to finish it into a wall hanging type of thing. I really like framing pieces, but framing is just so expensive. It's just out of my budget. I'm still a college kid, like, you know, don't have a whole lot of extra cash. So again, another project bag, Elizabeth Ann Stitch. Look up the tutorial. It's wonderful, totally customizable. There's the coordinating fabric inside. It sort of coordinates. So this is my Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow from Carriage House Samplings. I believe it's Kathy Barrick specifically. I'm not sure. I think it's both of them on this one. Kathy Barrick and Mary Barrick. So if I got that wrong, you know, correct me. But here is the completed piece. I hope you can see that without too much of a glare. I don't want to take it out of the plastic. I'm scared to death of showing the pattern itself. I just love this pattern. I saw Pam from Just Keep Stitching, so yeah, Miss Pam over here. She was stitching this, working on this a while back, and I just totally fell in love with it and had to stitch it. So this is also stitched on 14 count vintage country mocha. Huge piece, as you can see, and here's what I have done so far. I've been working on it. I started it about a month ago. Actually, I started it May 1st. This was my mania project. So I worked on this the entire month of May. So I have the first block completely done. I had the second block completely done. And the third one over here is a work in progress. But I am really happy with it so far. I'm very much enjoying the colors. For me, it has just the right amount of switching colors so that I don't get bored with things. And it has words on it. I really enjoy stitching words. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I am very into spooky things. Very into witchy, wonderful, you know, paranormal stuff. My book is actually a paranormal Beauty and the Beast retelling. So yeah, I am very into spooky stuff. So yeah, that I think is the only directly Halloween one that I have going right now, but I have done a couple other spooky themed things, specifically by the Witchy Stitcher. I just love her. I love her patterns. So the next, this was the very first project bag I ever made with fabric from Hobby Lobby. Again, good old Elizabeth Ann Stitch. She will teach you all you need to know. Just love her to death. So there's my very first project bag. Don't look at the zipper, it's so crooked. In here, I keep my travel project. So I live a couple hours away from my parents. So I've taken this when I went to see them. I belong to a local stitch group, so I take this and work on what we have for stitch nights because it is one color, it is super easy, but fun, and so I can talk and pay attention to the conversation, but still don't have to worry too much. This is the Laura Duet 1962 by Fox and Rabbit. They designed this for Laura's, I hate extension cords. They designed this as a birthday gift for Laura's 60th birthday. She's the same age as my dad. Fun. Little fact there. So Laura is, of course, Laura from Brenda, the Cereal Starter. I love them. They were the first FlossTube channel I ever watched. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this pattern was free as long as you gave like a donation. It's been a while though. I think I got this in January, or not too long thereafter. Sometime early part of the year. I don't totally remember. This is done on 14 count Ada, I can tell you that much. And I don't normally stitch in a hoop, but I just have this in a hoop because I'm not willing to take the chance of losing one of my Q-snaps. Whereas this was like $2 at Walmart, so if I lose this, I am not heartbroken at all. And I just wanted to give stitching in a hoop a try. Because historically, that's what women used. And part of the reason I really love needlework is the female history behind it. It was always a very feminine thing. Here's what I have done so far. Oh, this Ada is so see-through. It's kind of crazy. Here's what I have done so far. So I've got alphabet, 2 alphabets, 3 alphabets. All of this alphabet here and across is all Igerian eyelets, which was super fun to do. I'm pretty sure this Ada is 14 count. I think it's just called Linen, actually. By Zweigart. Yeah, it's Zweigart. And it's a band sampler. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm down here. I'm on like page 4, I think, on these bands. Yeah, gosh, that's terrible trying to hold up. So, yeah. This is all stitched entirely in DMC 115, so it's one of their newer variegated flosses. I'm really enjoying it. I love the way it looks, but I will warn you, I don't know if it's because my fabric, because this is like it's softened. It's like floppier, but it hasn't softened. It does fray a lot. And I don't know if it's my fabric, like the fabric is rough, so the thread is fraying a lot more, or if the thread is just like that. But like you can see here, I've got little pieces where it's frayed apart on me. So that's kind of frustrating. But you know, nothing you can't work around. It's no worse than like DMC 310. I have a terrible time with that. I love it. I love stitching in black. I said, you know, I mentioned I really love Witchy Stitcher projects, and she uses enough 310 to check a horse. So obviously I don't mind it too much. See, there's another fuzzy where it's frayed apart. So let me shove this back in here. And, oh my god, am I not going to be able to get this back in here? What the heck? This bag was my very first try at a project bag, and I am not an experienced seamstress at all. So that one turned out a little bit rotten. But anyway, it works. So I have one last whip to show you. Oops, it just moved in there. This is the most recent Sal, or Stitch Along, from the Witchy Stitcher. It is the Supernatural Sal. So right now it's just, I'm filming this on June 30th. It's just the frame that's been released. It's really pretty though. So it has Supernatural written across with these little cute skulls, a candelabra, and you have there's the frame with all these little bat motifs and so on and so forth. Right now it's just this, the frame that's been released, but tomorrow, July 1st, the first creature, ghosty, supernatural thingy, McBob boy, is being released. So how this Sal is going to work, it's like every week or like every other week, I forget, you get like a little square that's going to be put in here, so then you get these different creatures. This is done on a 16 count This is my first project on 16 count. I'm really enjoying it so far. I like the size that you end up with. This is 16 count, just bright white Ada from Hobby Lobby that I tea dyed. This is my first time tea dyeing fabric. And I didn't get the modeling that I wanted to. I got some more on this side. You can see it a lot more on the back side. But some of the colors that this calls for is kind of close to the color of the modeling. So I used the less modeled side for that. So tomorrow, the first little creature will be released. So I can get to work on that. Looking forward to it. Then that's the last of my whips, but I do have a couple finished projects, I guess, because they're not FFOs, they're not finally finished objects. I just have a couple finished projects, and it is in this National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation project bag I got on Etsy, and I cannot remember for the life of me who made it, but it's just a Velcro like envelope style. And in here is, first of all, my biggest finish of all time. I finished this back in April. This is the Quaker Virtue Sampler by Bygone Stitches, I believe. So yeah, it is on a 14 count Lenada, it was called, from Jeremiah Junction. It's like, it was literally as old as I was. It was my grandmother's stuff. My mom gave me the whole piece. But it's this beautiful, super soft, floppy Ada in this light brown color that I just love. It reminds me a lot of Picture This Plus Ada. But it's not. It's Lenada from Jeremiah Junction. You can see some threads, some dark threads along here. I did try to finish this once before, FFO it, into a wall hanging, and it didn't go well. So I measured wrong, things were lining up. So I just took it apart and put it away because I didn't want to deal with it that day. But I am going to get it back out one of these days and FFO it. So we fold this up. And so I measured the fabric. You can see it's a monochromatic piece. It is stitched entirely in DMC 930. I feel like. I think that was the color. I should write this stuff down. And then the other finished object I have is the last Witchy Stitcher Sal that ended sometime in early January. It was the Cryptid Sal. So it's not on this piece of fabric even. But this is stitched on 14 count Ada that my mom ordered off Amazon, and we walnut crystal dyed it. So this worked the same way as the Supernatural Sal is going to work, where you got the frame first to stitch, and then like every week, every other week, there was a couple like rest periods, you got a new creature. And I really wasn't into cryptids at all before this. But it was because of this Sal I got into Mothman. I am a hardcore Mothman gal. And of course, good old Bigfoot. And like the Fresno Nightcrawlers are just my favorite. I just love them. So there's the whole thing. Love the little chupacabra down there and the Loveland Frogman. By the way, I found out the Loveland Frogman apparently is not that far from where Steph and Pam are in like the Cincinnati area. So you guys should definitely go Loveland Frogman hunting. But yeah, there is my other finished object. I definitely want to frame this. Black frames are easy to get, and I worked out, I think, that it was going to fit into just a standard size frame, so I wouldn't have to worry about getting anything custom made. But now, since I started the Supernatural Sal, I want to wait until I finish that one and get these framed together so they can be on the wall side by side. So yeah, there's my whip grade and my finished objects, and well, you know, one FFO, my not very old, but 8-year-old sampler. So going forward, tomorrow I am going to do the first creature on the Supernatural Sal, like as soon as it comes out. I have to work. I'm going to print it off, do it when I get home. Very, very excited. The little blocks for the Cryptid Sal were the size I could do them in one sitting, in one night, every Friday. So I'm going to do the first Supernatural creature. And then this next week I have my stitch group, so I'm going to work on my Laura duet for this next week. And then the week after that, I know I want to work on my my dragon for my boyfriend, because it's a very full coverage piece and I don't have a whole lot of progress on it. So I want to work on that. And then after that, I'm not really sure. I was really enjoying working on the Frontier hardware, so I might get back to that. But at the same time, I have a couple patterns that I've just been dying to start. One is, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it's basically the I seek solace, the needle and thread, the worries of life I no longer dread, something like that, at Scarlet House. But that is on linen. It has to be done on linen because there is parchment 1/1, and I don't want to try doing that on Ada. I really want to start that, but I just can't quite bring myself to try linen. And I know it's stupid, but I don't know. I'm just really comfortable on Ada. I'm really nervous to try linen for the first time. I mean, I'll definitely try it on an even weave, but yeah. I've actually got a piece of Picture This Plus Feldspar 32 count that I got from Dixie Darling down in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, to do, you know, the big turkey. The big turkey. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, of course I can't. But it's the big turkey. It's by the same people that are releasing the Year in the Woods. You know what I'm talking about? I hope you know what I'm talking about. I guess this is just like closing remark. If you haven't checked them out already, I'm sure if you're watching me, you've seen everybody else. Go watch Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching. Made by Michelle McGraw from Made by Michelle McGraw. Mama Loves You GB. Bridget from the Museum Stitcher. Nancy from the, oh gosh, what was her name? Yeah, I'll have to link her. The Disorderly Stitcher, that was her name. Brenda and the Serial Starter, Fox and Rabbit. I just love all of them. Like I said, I just decided to make this video because I used to make YouTube videos about books constantly, and I still absolutely love to read. But I watch so much FlossTube now, I decided to give this a go. So, yeah, hope you liked it. I'll make another video when there's something to update about. I'll still keep posting about books every now and then. I've got a couple reads that I just finished that I definitely want to talk about, but I'm still like collecting my thoughts on. One of them is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which you should definitely go read. If you have any interest in old Hollywood, like 1950s Marilyn Monroe-esque Hollywood, definitely go read it. It is so good. It was just, it's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Go read it. Okay, so that is my last little spiel. I'll see you guys.